Another presidential hopeful has risen from the southeastern region of the country. Well, this comes amidst the agitation for the Igbo president in 2023. Today, a former governor of Imo State, Senator Okorocha, has officially declared his interest to contest for the presidency in 2023. He made the declaration at the World Press Conference in Abuja, where he says he wants to beat the record of President Muhammadu Buhari 1 billion times. Senator Okorocha says his leadership will promote free education for all Nigerian children and that youth will be the bedrock of his administration. The former Imo State governor now joins us live on the program. I'm now being joined by the former Imo governor and a sitting senator, Senator Okorocha. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Let me begin. It might sound like a generic question, which we ask those who want to be Nigeria's president, but is pertinent to know that you're not just wanting to be president for the fun of it. It's actually very interesting to become the president. But we want to know, deep down within you, what is the most important factor which makes you want to become Nigeria's president?
Well, thank you, Sharon. Good to speak to you on this day. Sharon, to answer your question, I think we must take this whole thing about presidency of Nigeria as a very, very serious business. I've listened to you and some of the journalists on the questions you ask aspirants from time to time, but I don't think we're addressing the issue. The question, rather, that we should try to ask is when. The mood of the nation. The mood of the nation is looking for someone that can unite this country and give everyone a sense of belonging and make Nigerians feel, like a member of one family. The mood of the nation is looking for a leader in 2023 who has compassionate heart, who can listen and feel the pains of the poor and the needy and those who are troubled in our society. The mood of the nation, and for 2023, is looking for a leader who can radicalize our economy, if you like, create wealth, engage our youth, stop insecurity and youth restiveness. Now, these are some of the questions I had asked, and that's the questions most Nigerians are asking, to see who can actually fit into this. And it's these three things that are my major concerns that has brought me out to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I had done this before. This is the fourth time I'm really running for this office in this country. So when you ask about the question you just asked, I found myself appropriate. I find myself ideal. And I find myself as the right person for this moment. Maybe not 20, 30, 40 years ago. Maybe not in 20, 30 years, 40 years to come. But in Nigeria of today, I fit in properly. So my running for president is out of passion to make this country great.
All right.
It's out of my vision to fix the thing that needs to be fixed.
Okay, great. So it's interesting that as you were announcing your ambition to run for president, at the Federal High Court in Abuja, the EFCC today filed a suit against you, an allegation that you conspired with others, including an APC politician, and 5 companies to steal an amount running to about 2.9 billion from public coffers. I'm very sure that you are aware of that suit by the EFCC. How does that come to you? And how do you explain those allegations? I'm very sure that's not the first time you are hearing such.
Well, the story of Rochas and EFCC, the story of Rochas and politics of Imo State has been a long, dragging one. Actually, I'm not aware of this 2.8 million suits. But what I do know, that the stage I find myself with EFCC is that I had an order against EFCC from Federal High Court on my human right abuse. And EFCC had refused to obey that order. Again, the EFCC asked the judge to recuse himself or resign from the case. Now I have another judgment against EFCC on my fundamental human right and false allegations, which has to do with their mentioning that I took 5.7 billion naira, which is not true, and they have not been able to explain that. And I have a court judgment against them. And EFCC have gone back again to the same court to say, listen, judge, leave that case, recuse yourself, and resign from the case. So anytime I get judgment against EFCC on my human right, they either ask the court, the judge, to recuse himself and assign to another court or something. It's been one drama or the other. But what is happening actually, I don't want to say it's politically motivated, but it's looking more like it. But EFCC is an investigation agency. Now, whatever you bring for them, they must investigate. But one thing I ask EFCC, number one, EFCC should please try and not make it look like it's a political issue and obey simple court directives or court orders or court judgments as the case may be. And they should try and investigate the matter and get real facts before start advancing some of the actions they take. Now I'm declaring today and I'm filing a case today, if that is the truth. I mean, that also goes a long way that, that there's some kind of political undertone in this matter. But I have my respect for EFCC, but I want them to do the proper thing. It will help our nation and help the image of our government.
You might have your time to address the court when the meat of this matter is brought before the court. But since you're speaking in the court of public opinion, right in front of Nigerians, millions of whom you are asking for their trust in becoming Nigeria's #1 citizen. And it's not difficult to be able to put you on a scale based on what you have done, your antecedent. First and foremost, the allegations of corruption that have been, that have been leveled against you. How do you tell Nigerians or explain that you have not enriched yourself with the monies of Imo State when you were governor? Issues of the fact that allegations that have been leveled against you about how properties are being obtained in favor of family members and friends of yours when you were in government, and monies that are being accrued to you, there have been allegations that are leveled that came from the public coffers. How do you explain to Nigerians in whom you are seeking their trust in becoming president?
Now, Shewun, again, let me say to you, this sounds very funny. None of this you have said reflects any practical realities. And I say to you that most of these things are politically motivated, and it does not reflect any practical realities. As I stand with you today, there has not been any matter in courts as I speak where I've been charged for any form of corruption in the court of Nigeria. And I so speak. So this is why what you just said now is coming to me rather as a surprise. But Imo State is something very, very funny and interesting. Nothing of such. These are what is called political propaganda. Last time I heard that Imo State published about nice something properties, and Rochas took them for himself and members of the family. Again, I challenge Imo State government or EFCC to show me where I took one single property to myself or to any member of my family. Sheung, there is nothing, absolutely nothing like that. But you see, Nigeria is a very interesting country. And these are some of the things we're talking about. Injustice being done. And when you ask about Rochas and amassing wealth, I was Rochas before governor. And if you want to check who Rochas is, and I stand posteriors to say this, please could you try to go to Conduct Bureau and see my words before becoming governor? Then you will know. And since I finished, there has never been any property of government, any money of government, any cash of government find in my coffers or any of my family member, not 1 naira, not $1. These are just rumors to dent somebody's image, especially when they know that your chances to aspire for a political position is bright. So let them throw all kinds of moss to bring you down. But that is not working this time around. So
let's clarify this issue, Senator. So if you're explaining this, are you saying for sure that since you left office or since you were in office, because Nigerians are watching and they will be holding you onto your words tonight, that there is nothing whatsoever that belongs to you right now that is of the Imo State government?
I say it 7 and 10 times more, that there's not anything that I have that has been traced to Imo State government money while I was in the office. Now, and hear me clearly. I think this question you're asking me this evening, I must thank you, so some of these things can be cleared. But what you see happening in Imo State is a very, very funny thing. You may have heard about my wife's property that was taken over by Imo State government and taken over by EFCC at the same time. Imo State government fighting, EFCC fighting over property. That same property, there's no dime of Imo State government that is traced to that property. This is just politics, dirty politics at play. And the other one is the Rochas Foundation College, or G, which the government of Imo State sealed. They sealed that school, not because they traced any money of government to it. They sealed the school in the pretense that the land was allocated by the governor to the school when I was a governor for purpose of training poor children, orphans. I consider that as the wickedness of mankind. And during the Magu's administration, Magu sent people to seal that place. And Imo State government also sealed the place, double sealing, and almost stopped the children from going to school. But there's no traces, and I say again, traces of any naira,
all
1 naira.
So let's, because we have so many, because of your ambition and the things that you have said today, I would love us to touch on so many things, because there are those of your friends who have said that you were almost broke before you became governor, and questioning your source of wealth and how you got all of those wealth. But the question here for me tonight, and perhaps on the minds of a lot of Nigerians, is if Senator Rochas Okorocha wants to be Nigeria's president, like they say in the southwestern part of the country, there's a popular proverb that is from a home that you take treasures out. That whatever you want to be on the outside, you must first become on the inside. And what can you say you have done to deserve, when you were governor, to deserve to be the Nigeria's president? How you handled just one state of the federation compared to how you hope to handle 36 states and the FCT, and as a Nigeria's president? The big question is, what can you lay your hands on that you did that is significant, that makes you deserving of wanting to be Nigeria's president?
Okay, Sheung, when you ask so many questions, it tends to make us forget some. But the first answer I want to give you is, those who say I was broke, they are liars. That's a fabricated fallacy. Sheung, I think if you talk about Nigerians blessed by God, I raise my hand to say I'm one of them. I don't know, sometimes it makes me want to sound boisterous. And that is not good for me. I don't like doing that. But recently I'm beginning to talk to clarify issues. One, I want to say to you that I was Rochas before I became governor. In fact, governor made me poorer. If you could go to bureau, conduct bureau before I become governor, if my real estate alone in Abuja here, I'm sure you can find 1, 2, 3, 4 people who can count on it. But let me say something that might shock you. I had Rochas Foundation schools, so many of them, over, at that time before I became governor, over 18,000. And I know that to feed these children and educate them, it doesn't cost anything less than 500 naira a day. Calculate that, Sheon. And know whether there's any day I wake up that 10 million, 15 million does not go out of my pocket. Is it Imo State government? How much is the Imo State government money? Imo State is really owing me, let me say it here, because I never collected my security vote. I'm supposed to collect from Imo State now 8 billion naira if I have to make claims for security votes I did not collect. I fed myself throughout in government house when I was there. I used my personal cars. I messed up for me to introduce free education in Imo State. And you're asking me, what can I prove that I've achieved? Let me say again, outside Mbakweme, his soul rest in peace. There's no governor, only government till date, who can measure up what I've done in Imo State, not even up to 20% of what I've done. Now, I'm the only first governor to introduce the free education from primary to university in Imo State. Sheung, I had more than 2,000 projects. I opened up for Owerri. It's there for everybody to say. The best cargo airport, the best hospitals are built, the best police headquarters, the best court places, the best house of assembly, the best government house. All this was done by Rochas Okorocha. And I want to ask, one thing with you people, the journalists, investigative journalism is very poor in Nigeria. Imo is 45 minutes away from me. Can you drive there? And last time you had Otudoju, who at least went there, how he was talking about the achievement of Rochas Okorocha. Shegun, you should go there. If you go there, you will never in your life ask this question. And you insult the hell of those who said this. It's political permutation to see whether this Rochas ambition for 2023 can be rubbish. But I tell you what, they can't rubbish it. Because the facts are there to come.
So let me pick you up on that, Senator. If you're talking about your achievement in Imo State, let me pick you up and perhaps get you to know some of the feelings from your state. I'm not sure when was the last time you also visited, but the quality of the roads in Imo State, and I'm not sure if it's 4 years yet since you left. What can you say about those, some of the roads that are giving way now, about some of those who have criticized some of the quality of the infrastructure, the quality of the roads were constructed during your time?
Sheung, again, you see, that's why I say, stop hearing this hearsay. I was in Imo State December. Go and show me one of my roads that has gone bad. Potholes are allowed for roads, even if it's built by Julius Berger. And it's duty incumbent on the sitting governor to resurface them. I opened up the entire 4-lane roads and changed them to 8 lanes in Owerri. I opened more roads in Owerri than any government in history has opened. I left 48.3 billion naira behind, and I never owe any bank for that period of 8 years. Sheung, let me tell you, I'm just telling you about International Cargo Airport. I'm telling you about Traditional Rural Council. I'm telling you about International Conference Center. I'm telling you about so many projects, more than 2,000 projects, and I'm beating my chest that if they prove that any governor have done more than I've done in Imo State, I resign from contesting President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To shock you. So these are small, very funny and dirty claims that doesn't make sense. So can I be honest with you, Sheung, from today onwards, I advise you stop listening to those gossips. And if you want to go to the place, go and find the facts yourself and see what Rochas Okorocha have done. I built 6 universities. I built 7 general hospitals. Some of them are functional. They will also ask you, why did they functional? I was seeing 100 years to come. What I built in Imo State, the government of Imo State now cannot build it in 100 years at the speed they're going. So it's about vision. I don't know.
All right, Senator, I mean, if you refer to the response of the people of your state as gossip, maybe that's the best way you can refer to them. But you know me, I don't do gossip. I'm a journalist, and I dwell on facts. Let's move on. Let me ask you yet again, that you established some schools in the north. What has happened to some of these schools? Are they still up and running?
What, Shegun, I don't know whether that's what I'm saying. You know, I have an issue with you this evening. You know why? You should always, you have correspondence in Sokoto. It will show you at Shegun Rochas Foundation College, Sokoto.
No. Senator, if I'm asking you a question tonight, I'm asking you a question because you will be accountable to Nigerians. And many Nigerians from wherever they may be in this country, they may not have access to some of the things you're describing. It's incumbent on you, Senator, to be able to tell them. When we ask you this question,
what I'm saying,
I said it, this is a court of public opinion. It is incumbent on you to tell them.
I know,
I'm asking as a journalist, not your opponent.
No, I'm asking you. You see, I said you have a correspondence in Kano. Go to Sabongeri Rochas Foundation College. It's been there for 24 years. Go to Zaria Rochas Foundation College. Go to Adama Rochas Foundation College. Go to Jos Rochas Foundation College. Go to Bauchi Rochas Foundation College. Go to Ibadan, where you come from, Rochas Foundation College. Go to Cross River Rochas Foundation College. Go to Enugu Rochas Foundation College. Go to Imo, 4 schools, Rochas Foundation College of Africa. These schools have produced over 6,000 graduates, lawyers, doctors. I don't know whether any one of them is working with Channel, but if I find, maybe I have one working. So when they ask this question, it's laughable. What of the school now? Would they say that the school does not exist when people are there to testify that the schools are there? That is my grouse when certain questions are asked. It's just like asking me, are you still with your wife? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a government for you to, if someone is asking, he wants to know whether you are with your wife, you know better. So it takes me here to another question, Senator. The last time you contest in APC primaries, you came a distant fourth. What has changed between then and now? And what gives you the confidence that you could do any better?
When I contested the first time 20 years ago, ask those who were in that election with me, they will tell a better story. I had one of the finest outings. When I came to PDP during Yaradua, I came second to Yaradua. And look at the big, heavy men that were there. It would have been my victory. What was against me then was zoning. I came to the last one in 2015 when I contested primaries that brought in our dear president. I did so, not necessarily I was in contest, but to assure the Igbos that APC is the way to go. At that time, I was the only one that led APC into the merger through my Afghan. I was the only governor from the southeast. So I was only encouraging Igbos to come because I still went back and continued with my governorship and I won. So that would be the third time that I contested. So nothing has really changed. At that time, it was meant for the North actually. But I came because if I didn't come, Igbos would not believe in the party. So it was strategic. And I did that and I told the world why I did what I did. So if you want to go and get my record, for me to have come second to Yaradua, President Yaradua at that time, when all this was, I will tell you that Rochas is not a pushover candidate. So I am very convinced that 2023 we shall have victory.
Okay, so because of our time now, I wouldn't want to dwell on Imo State and all whatever. I wanted to dwell on the presidential ambition that you have. And the big question is that you've said a lot of things to journalists today, some of which I don't want to go back to. But the big question is here is that you've promised that you're going to establish free education across the country. With the present state of the economy of the country, dwindling oil revenue, and the problem that the federal government has established that there's a problem of revenue. How do you hope to be able to fund free education with this state of affairs?
I wish you have asked me how was I able to fund Rochas Foundation College of so many schools to over 25,000 children. If an individual like me can do that, I don't see why federal government cannot make education free for their children. Education is not a means to life. Education is life itself, Shegun, and that must be given its place of priority. There are so many misplacements, projects in Nigeria that education can help education. Now, when ignorance comes, we pay dearly for it. The Boko Haram we had today that has consumed trillions of naira in fighting them, where simple free education we have afforded to children 30 years ago that was not done. That is a burden that President Mohamed Buhari is bearing today. So education is just the way to go. And this country is wealthy. This country is rich. Let no one ever tell you what is lacking in this country is the ability to manage the resources of our land. This country has enough resources. If I shock you what I did in Imo State is one of the, let me say in terms of revenue, one of the smallest, poorest states. What Imo State has in 12 months is what Rivers and Akwa Ibom have in 1 month. But how was I able to make Imo State or one of the fastest growing city, thinking outside the box, real estate, land? So it is possible. Free education is not, I'm not even discussing that. Education must be free to the university. But the kind of education I want is education tailored towards the productive sector of our economy that can help bring out our resources of the land. But how can we be in a nation where 14.3 million children are not going to school? And you say we can't make education free? Now, when these 14 million become Boko Haram tomorrow, what will you say? Now you spend 100 trillion to fight them. So free education is just no way for me.
Senator,
As I say, so I would do it.
You've got your running shoes. You've declared today that you want to run. This is just the opening bell to what will become a very intense next few months. And we hope that we'll get you at some point to talk more about your ambition. Thank you so much, distinguished Senator and former governor of Imo State, on a day like this that you declared your ambition to run for Nigeria's #1 seat. Thank you so much, Senator Okorocha, for your time.
Thank you, Shegun. I thought we were going to go more on this. That's okay. Thank you very much.
We'll find some other time. Thank you so much.